What's up, CHFFL? Let's wrap up week 6 here, first week of interleague play. Apologize, the video lighting's going to be a little dark. Need to start earlier now that it's fall, get a little bit of that Georgia sun coming in the window. Anyway, first week interleague play, instead of doing the Thursday night game and the bye week, we're going to do a comparison of the conferences when we get to the end of all the results. So, top score was Max, 197 points. This is his second time taking top team. Either week 2 or 3, he tied with Mark. So that gives the anime conference, if you count that tie, if you count both of them, 6 top scorers versus Fortnite's 1 top scorer. And Max is already working toward paying off his dues. So going into the results, the Tilted Towers lost to My Girly Girly Literature Club, 122 to 140. Thought this was going to be an easy game, but had to sweat it out, waiting for Adams to bail me out on Monday Night Football. Alfred Morris must have done something to Kyle Shanahan. I don't think that Grant can start him going forward, although I think Grant has it's looking like he's called it a season. We'll see if he's going to try to keep staying competitive. My team's looking a little top-heavy with Gurley, Sony Michel, and Adams really doing everything on their own. We'll see if I can remedy that going forward. I couldn't start Carry-On or Breda, though, so should be better going forward. Max, my guest picker, and I both got that correct. Next, Parker and the Snobby Shore Pistol Whips, 127 to Roy's Super Mario Star Power, 112. Jameis Winston ended up being a great fill-in for Parker, scoring over 30 points. Parker was fantastic at defense and kicker. Roy did well himself, but not well enough. Lost quite a bit of ground there. And Roy seemed really light behind Odell Beckham Jr., who he traded away after this game. Who knows? It might be time for Roy to call it in on the anime conference. Everybody's just looking really strong ahead of him. Trade for the future. Max and I both had this game wrong. Next up, Swan and the Salty Springs Spartans lost a tough one to Mark in the Your Thighs in April, 128. -5 from the kicker and defense for Swan. Jacksonville giving up 40 points was a real surprise. You still expect them to be a strong defense going forward, and nothing from the kicker. Mark, I know we talked about it in the preview, but Barkley is just fantastic. He's insane. He is, in my opinion, the most talented running back in the league. Then the second overall player I would want to own in fantasy after Todd Gurley, who I couldn't be happier about this situation. Watching two guys played for my alma maters. I got to see them both in college, just killing it in the NFL. That's great. Mark bringing in Julio Jones should help patch his team up even more, and he has me sweating just barely ahead of him in the anime conference standings. Max and I both had this game right. Going on to the Risky Reels and Watson Thrills against the Full Metal Al Camara. Almost doubling him up, 96 to 184. Minnie traded Julio away after this one. Is he throwing in the towel? Also of note, I forgot to put it here, but Watson, the namesake of the team, had -1 point, so that's just sad. And then Wes's team's bonkers. He's got a ton of really big play, high upside guys, and Hill had a second, what I would call boom game of the season with 40-some points. Max and I both had this one right. Not a very difficult call. Now, this was the guest picker's game of the week, and Stan and the Keanu Chug Jugs just wrecked solely to Leonard, 125-74. This was a big bust for Brad, who, he's got in the short end of the stick with all these matchups and teams going off against him. This was a winnable game. It was a tough game, and to put up such a low score is really probably deflating. Stan's getting a big boost from A.J. Green. He traded Dalvin Cook away for Green. Mark's still waiting for Dalvin Cook to play, whereas A.J. has been putting up consistent points. I thought Brad would pull this one out, so I had it wrong. Max, however, got it right. He's one ahead of me and will remain there as we go forward. My game of the week was the Dusty Divot Dark Vikings. Marty, 144 to Max's Gordon Smash. And the guest picker, fantastic. We already talked about him getting the top score, 197. He's added since this. He got OBJ from Roy, so looking fantastic. If I'm Marty, though, not worried about this game. You look good. It's just you have a great shot at getting the bye week. That's what you want. You want that first seed, and it's all about the next game you have with Stan. Max and I both had this one right, though. And that brought me to 4-2 on the day, 23-13 on the season. I'm fairly happy with that, but again, the guest picker beat me by a game. Max went 5-1 thanks to picking Stan over Brad. Wes, you will remember, went 6-0 when he was the guest picker, so apparently this is a lot easier than I make it out to be from week to week. Looking at the conference comparison, the anime conference won 4 this week. Fortnite got 2, though, which I actually think is pretty good for them. But what are you going to do? I don't know how it got to this position. Looking at the total points scored, anime 835, that's averaging 139 a team this week versus Fortnite at only 703, averaging 22 fewer points per game from team to team. I mean, obviously, Wes and Max getting such huge scores helps a lot, but there is just such disparity between the conferences. It's just what it is. So thanks for watching. That was week 6. We have 2 more weeks of interleague play. Like, subscribe, all that yada yada, and we'll be seeing you soon. Bye-bye.